She struggled away, trembling but demanding he stop. He cornered her, pressing the red bouquet against the curtain. He leaned close, mumbling she must like him too, while she denied it desperately. The air darkened, purple miasma spreading, his grin twisting demonically. A sudden laugh sliced through, making him spin in alarm. At the door stood Bei Ming and Hao Tian. Teacher Shang cursed at being caught. Hao Tian sneered, thinking saving her might mean saving the sinner too. Bei Ming quipped coolly, "Teacher Dian, I'm here. Teacher Shang sure is free time." Teacher Shang stormed out, vowing revenge on the brat who ruined his moment. The door slammed shut as Bei Ming and Hao Tian entered the tense room. Teacher Dian sat down, thanking him shyly for rescuing her from embarrassment. Bei Ming scratched his head, smiling gently, saying it was nothing. He blurted that she was so beautiful, everyone adored her, then turned red and rubbed his neck. She smiled bashfully, half joking, "So do you like me too?" Hao Tian nearly dropped his jaw in disbelief. Bei Ming stammered, turning away, "You're the teacher I respect most?" Then he pounded his chest, vowing to be her porcelain guardian bodyguard next time. Teacher Dian laughed softly, her kind eyes saying, "I believe in you, Bei Ming." Bei Ming smiled brightly, hand scratching his neck out of shy habit. Hao Tian licked his lips, teasing, "Flower guardian, huh?" making Bei Ming glare, "What's that face for?" But then Hao Tian's face turned serious, sensing Teacher Dian's demonic aura fading oddly fast. He leaned closer, wondering if the aura was tied to her emotions. Teacher Dian invited Bei Ming to sit and talk properly. He shook his head, saying standing was fine, no need for formality. She warned sternly that although his expulsion was revoked, his grades were low and graduation was at risk. Bei Ming looked a bit uneasy hearing that. Understanding her good intent, he bowed and agreed to make up his studies. After class, Shi Ni waited outside, waving as soon as she saw him. They walked together as Shi Ni chattered about the math teacher's perfect circle drawings. But Bei Ming didn't listen, his mind stuck on the growing demonic aura around Teacher Dian and his plan to act. Shi Ni called several times until she yelled Bei Ming. He jolted and answered, "Yeah, I'm here." Bei Ming smiled awkwardly and got scolded for daydreaming. To avoid tension, he quickly denied everything. Turning back, he spotted Teacher Dian with a strange man. He made an excuse for Shi Ni to go home first and followed secretly. Seeing her get into the man's car, he decided to tail them. Bei Ming dashed off as Shi Ni called after him in confusion. Shi Ni grew suspicious and vowed to get answers later. Meanwhile, Teacher Dian stood stranded, visibly anxious. A shady man appeared before her. He grabbed her hand, threatening her with dangerous words as she pleaded. She fought back, demanding why he meddled in her family matters. He arrogantly claimed it was a favor for her relatives. Teacher Dian firmly denied him, rejecting his twisted logic. He lost control, forcing himself on her with possessive menace. She was shoved into the car, struggling in vain to break free. He groped her, praising she was perfect for bearing his children. It all turned out to be Hao Tian's twisted fantasy. Hao Tian bragged smugly to Bei Ming about his deductive genius. Bei Ming snapped, telling him to get serious, but Hao Tian argued back. Bei Ming stormed off, worried Teacher Dian might truly be in danger. He saw her car speeding away, fearing he'd lose the trail. Without thinking, he rushed to a flyer distributor nearby. He yonked off the man's cat hat as a disguise and took off running. The worker screamed in outrage, robbed of both hat and dignity. Bei Ming and Hao Tian sprinted past buildings, chasing the car. Bei Ming wondered what truly caused Teacher Dian's abduction. The car zoomed like lightning, making pursuit exhausting. A sudden realization flashed through his mind. He swiftly hurled a metal bar. Standing still on a rooftop with Hao Tian, he grumbled about losing the target. He stayed silent, observing from above, then formed a plan. Raising his hand, he summoned purple energy to test the spirit serpent's power again. From his palm, spectral spirit serpents flew out, scattering to track the car. They scoured everywhere from barren lots to crowded bathhouses. Soon, a serpent located Teacher Dian being lured away. Bei Ming sensed the signal, quietly exclaiming he'd found her. From a balcony, a little boy stared wide-eyed at him. Bei Ming gestured for silence. The boy froze in terror. Then he screamed for his mom, yelling there was a dog on the wall. Bei Ming facepalmed, sighing at the misunderstanding. He braced his legs and stomped off the roof without a word. With Hao Tian, he leapt down to resume the chase. Then his eyes widened in shock at what he saw. The sky was filled with red threads, forcing him to move carefully as his dog hat nearly split in two. He dodged and watched as chaos unfolded before his eyes. The streets were webbed with red threads like a spider's trap. In the distance, a pink-haired girl spoke. "The yarn has reacted." She hugged a teddy bear, stroking it as if to calm herself. Her innocent face masked suspicion. Which demon dares trespass here? In an instant, her cute face twisted into something monstrous. Bei Ming and Hao Tian halted. He asked about the yarn while Hao Tian warned of intense spiritual energy. Bei Ming ignored it, powering up with a cold snort. Demon or not, who cares? Shards of glass flew around him, clinging to his clothes as he ordered, "Come here." With a strong leap, he tore through the red threads and landed on another rooftop. He noted the yarn was sharp, but weak. Strange that the demon hadn't shown itself. Climbing, he muttered that the creature hid its aura too well to detect. Hao Tian agreed, sensing something off, no trace of demonic scent at all. Impatient, Bei Ming shouted for the enemy to appear, but only the wind replied. He suspected the threads weren't targeting him, but were bait instead. Unwilling to waste time, he clenched his fists and leapt away to chase Teacher Dian. From above, the pink-haired girl mocked him as a weak show-off, lamenting her ruined cosplay day. She spread her arms, unleashing countless red threads coiling with heavy miasma. She stepped forward, voice cold, then let me grant your wish. Mid-jump, both Bei Ming and Hao Tian felt something wrong. Bei Ming asked, and Hao Tian warned something fast was coming from behind. Bei Ming smirked, finally showing yourself. They landed on another roof as Bei Ming taunted, "Come at me!" The pink-haired girl grinned. "Oh, you stopped. Want to fight?" She laughed wildly, then die happily. Hao Tian saw a strange flash, sensing fierce spiritual power battle was about to erupt. Bei Ming gasped in horror as his spirit serpent armor shattered to pieces. Hao Tian paled, muttering trouble but shrugged, with the four great powers, "You'll be fine!" Before finishing, he yanked Bei Ming away with his chain from the danger zone. He grumbled while dragging coward, "Running already?" Bei Ming didn't reply, saying quickly, "Even the serpent's gone, I must save Teacher Dian, not waste strength here." Hao Tian rolled his eyes, "Just admit you're scared." Seeing them flee, the pink-haired girl growled, "Oh, so now you know fear." She sneered proudly, "Run all you like, the more you fear, the better I feel." Then she slammed dark energy down, cracking the rooftop open. While chasing, she murmured bizarrely about bear cookies and dear mama, singing like a lunatic. No matter how fast she moved, she couldn't catch them and stopped, fuming atop a roof. Her face twisted with hatred, thirsting to devour her foes alive. She muttered bitterly, "Consider yourself lucky you're worth less than my bear cookie." Staring at the sunset, she huffed, "Nightfall's hunt's over. I'll spare you for now." She stroked her teddy bear, smiling eerily, "Next time we meet will be your death day." With that, she leapt skyward, light as a red thread. A crimson streak below marked the demon girl's eerie footprints. Bei Ming and Hao Tian still dashed across rooftops, refusing to stop. Bei Ming grumbled, asking why the spirit serpents vanished had his demonic energy run dry. Hao Tian replied flatly, "Your fault for using power recklessly and broadcasting your aura everywhere." Bei Ming said coolly, "That's why retreating's the smartest move, brains over brawn, my friend." Hao Tian squinted mockingly, "Since when do you have IQ? You just run on instinct!" Bei Ming ignored him, yanking the chain and running ahead. Hao Tian yelled behind, "Slow down! You're dragging me, my spine's gonna snap!" Bei Ming teased, "Weren't you the mighty one? Why so weak?" Hao Tian snapped, "Got a problem with that?" They bickered while sprinting across rooftops, Hao Tian shouting, "This Grand Master has never run like this before." Bei Ming stopped, panting before a luxurious villa. Here it is, Teacher Dian's inside. Hao Tian stumbled behind, gasping, "Damn it, even my ancestors are tired now." Bei Ming ignored him, urging, "Move, no time left." Hao Tian grumbled, "Heartless brat, wait for me!" A hand suddenly blocked them, an icy voice said, "Stop right there." A man in dark glasses stepped out, declaring this was a private club, outsiders forbidden. Bei Ming tilted his head, muttering, "Secret club, like those shady ones from the flyers." He accidentally shouted, startling the whole area. The guard glared, "What nonsense are you spouting?" Another guard barked, "Hey!" Bei Ming froze, calming down. If this wasn't where Teacher Dian went, things were worse. The guards got angry, yelling, "Scram! Poor trash like you doesn't belong here, teach him a lesson!" Bei Ming laughed awkwardly, rubbing his head in apology to avoid trouble. Hao Tian snorted, "You can swallow that." "So lame!" Bei Ming muttered, "I'm just a poor student, sorry for the disturbance." The guards sneered, "Smart boy, now get lost!" Hao Tian fumed, "Why do you always go soft at the last second?" Bei Ming said firmly, "Don't you get it? Causing a scene ruins everything. If this isn't the right place, she's in more danger. The city's full of spiritual threads, and that demon's vanished. We must stay cautious." He added gravely, "Since gaining this power, the world's gone off track. I need to hide until I understand it." Hao Tian groaned, "You sound like a superhero in underwear." Bei Ming sighed, "So you are addicted to CEO dramas." They stopped before a tall wall. Bei Ming studied it, "Not too high, no cameras here." He clenched his fist, thinking, "Let's see if I can still trigger pulses with the energy left." He tried summoning his demonic power but failed, sighing it was nearly depleted. Hao Tian sneered, "You think that skill's infinite?" "Nave! If you'd teamed with Morushu, you'd have more energy by now." Bei Ming snapped, "Not the time for nonsense! Think of a way to save Teacher Dian. Keep your voice down, idiot!" Hao Tian mocked, "Without demon power, you're just a weak mortal. Who can you save?" Bei Ming stayed calm, "Doesn't matter. My body still senses demonic traces in my blood. As long as I breathe, I'll save her." Hao Tian sighed, "Fine, go die bravely. I won't stop you." Silver moonlight fell soft yet cold. Hao Tian continued, "I'm not stopping you, but..." Before he finished, Bei Ming jumped, stepping on Hao Tian's head as a springboard. Hao Tian roared, "You dared step on my glorious head!" Bei Ming clung to the wall, panting, almost there, while Hao Tian served as an unwilling footstool, both ridiculous and pitiful. Hao Tian thrashed, shouting, "Hurry up! I'll bite you dead, useless brat!" Bei Ming hauled himself over, sighing, then froze. Before him was a hot spring full of beautiful women relaxing. He slipped and fell, making them all scream, "Pervert!" A peeping Tom. Beiming flailed, waving his hands, "I'm not a pervert," while Hao Tian outside bellowed, "What the hell are you doing, brat?" Bare feet scattered everywhere in panic. Outside, people gossiped. "What's going on? Heard some guy peeked into the hot spring?" "What?" At the Imperial Club. "Has dead meat those are daughters of tycoons and wives of officials." Scene shifted. A man lounged coldly in his chair, saying, "Teacher Diane, I called you here for one thing, money." She trembled, pleading, "Please give me more time. I'll pay it all." The bearded man exhaled smoke like knives. "Your parents owed me 1 million. Now with interest it's 10 million and they've run. You knew that." Teacher Diane staggered, hand over mouth. "What?" She burst into tears, shaking her head. "No, my parents would never do that." He replied flatly, "I don't care who they are, they ran. Your teacher's salary won't cover it in a lifetime. Understand?" She bowed in despair, words dying on her lips. She choked. "Why? I sent them money every month, honest money I earned. I've done nothing wrong." Memories flooded back, cold refusals, cruel words. "Sorry, Xiao Dian, we've got kids to feed. Need cash? Go to the Imperial Club, it'll get you a room. You're a famous teacher. Open tutoring classes, money will come." She collapsed, heart heavy. Why had everyone abandoned her? The man stepped closer, feigning kindness. "I'm not cruel. You're a high school teacher, right? Bring a few female students to meet me, and it'll reduce your debt." He smirked lecherously. "How about it? I'm being generous." His filthy hand on her shoulder made her shudder in terror. She slapped his hand away, shouting, "No!" She gritted her teeth. "Don't you dare touch my students!" The bearded man snorted, eyes flashing viciously. His face twisted, murderous aura rising thick. He roared, shoving her down. "If you won't obey, then offer yourself instead." He lunged like a beast as she screamed for help, tears streaming. "Someone save me!" Outside, Beiming raised both hands. "Easy, I'm just passing by." A guard grabbed his collar, growling, "Passing by over a wall." Beiming grinned nervously. "A road's a road, just less crowded." The guard in glasses snarled, "You're about to die and still joking." From afar, a girl watched and huffed. "This kid's interesting." Her maid whispered, "Miss, please change, master's waiting." Suddenly another woman shouted, "Enough talk, deal with him." A reed-haired lady screamed, "Gooch his eyes out! He saw my body! My 32E chest, 1.2-meter legs, an enchanting gaze, he saw them all." Hao Tian outside nearly fainted. He muttered, "Sounds more like bragging than anger. Quit talking, help your master." Beiming snapped, "You're not helping, just yapping. These women are scarier than demons." 2 guards rushed in, grabbing him. "Don't worry, ladies, we'll handle this pervert." Beiming struggled, "Wait, I didn't do anything." Just then, a surge of dark energy filled the air. Beiming froze. This aura, it's Teacher Dian's. Hao Tian's eyes narrowed, voice tense. "Something's wrong, She's in trouble." Beiming gritted his teeth. "She's really in danger. If I fight here, it'll be exposed, but if I don't, it'll be too late. Damn it, what do I do?" A loud command rang out. "Stop!" A handsome young man appeared, smiling softly. "Ladies, forgive me, it's my fault you were frightened." The women gasped, "It's young Master Shen! So handsome! The owner of the Imperial Club, I came here just for him." Young Master Shen waved calmly but firmly. "Stand down, all of you." The guards hesitated. He frowned sharply. "What? My words mean nothing now." They panicked, bowing and retreating, leaving a tense silence. Once they were gone, Beiming exhaled in relief, thinking saved. He glanced at young Master Shen, recognition dawning. Wait, isn't he one of those F4 idiots who flirt with Shi Ni at the school gate every morning? Shan Xiao's mischievous glance made Beiming's spine tingle and heart race. Hao Tian squinted and smirked. "Your good friend there, take a look." The women raged on, someone yelling, "We can't let that pervert go! He'll tell my dad!" Shan Luo stepped forward, smiling like spring breeze. "Ladies, please calm down. Just a misunderstanding, you'll handle it." He smiled charmingly, inviting, "Please return to rest. I'll personally send apology gifts later." In a blink, anger melted into admiration. No wonder the Shan family's second young master is handsome and rich. Beiming secretly rejoiced, everything settled. His choice to endure had paid off. Hao Tian mocked, "That's a true boss. You're just pitiful." Beiming sighed, "Yeah, I'd learn, but I can't." Suddenly recalling his mission, Beiming's tone turned serious. "Enough jokes, we must find Miss Diane now." Just then Shan Luo smiled, "If you like those girls, why climb walls? With your ability, no guard could stop you. Why hold back?" Beiming froze. Did he know? Puzzled, Beiming just patted his shoulder awkwardly. "My fault. Thanks for the help, really." He added, "I had my reasons. I won't forget your favor today." Shan Luo glanced at the hand on his shoulder, smiled slightly. No need for formality. Beiming bowed in thanks and left quickly, leaving Shan Luo thoughtful, his suspicion confirmed. Both Shan Luo and Hao Tian shared the same thought. Beiming was definitely not ordinary. Beiming and Hao Tian rushed to the scene, sensing dense black energy. Beiming felt danger and pointed forward. Screams and curses echoed inside, but the guards stood still like statues. Seeing the chaos, Beiming frowned. His hunch was right. 2 guards blocked the way, threatening violence. Beiming didn't flinch, ordered them aside, and charged into battle. The noise outside drew attention from within. The boss, enraged, ordered his men to check it out. As they reached the door, the ground trembled, panic set in. Then the door slammed down, leaving him in shock. Bei Ming burst in like an action movie hero. The underling was taken down instantly, becoming unintended debris. Bei Ming, stunned by the scene, shouted for Miss Dian. She weakly begged him to leave. This place was too dangerous. Suddenly, dozens of guns aimed at them. Bei Ming stayed calm, assuring her he came to save her. The leader approached, voice dripping menace, questioning their relationship. He grew filthier and more gleeful with every word. Miss Dian shouted furiously, demanding he not touch Bei Ming. She pleaded for Bei Ming's life, willing to sacrifice herself. The boss answered with a cruel kick and venomous taunts. Bei Ming burned with rage, vowing to kill them all. The thugs drew their guns, ready to fire. Gunfire erupted. Miss Dian gasped and covered her mouth. Bei Ming was hit, staggering but refusing to fall. Hao Tian cried out, but Bei Ming collapsed unconscious. The boss sneered, thinking victory was his. Before he could celebrate, Miss Dian's scream froze him in fear. She wept bitterly, blaming herself for her student's pain. Dark energy surged around her, shadows devouring her form. In the black mist, her sorrow twisted into eerie power. Her smile turned chilling, beautiful yet terrifying. A ghostly voice whispered, "Only by letting go of hatred can you be free." A new evil Dian was born, radiant with power and pure cruelty. The boss panicked, shouting for his men to seize the crazy woman, but they were instantly flattened before touching her. One fatal strike snapped his arm like dry wood, screams echoing. Evil Dian arrogantly lectured that only fear keeps one alive. Realizing things were spiraling, the boss yelled ceasefire, afraid of killing the debtor. Evil Dian smirked coldly at the flying bullets, utterly unimpressed. Outside, Hao Tian urged Bei Ming to wake. His teacher had transformed. Bei Ming ached all over, dizzy and ashamed at his helplessness. Hao Tian scolded him for being weak, disgracing his power's master. Bei Ming retorted that without demon force, he'd already be dead. He cursed under his breath, vowing to control his energy next time. Hao Tian snapped, "Enough whining, focus on rescuing her!" Bei Ming inhaled deeply, determined to save Miss Dian. Inside, soldiers trembled, screaming monster, while the evil woman laughed wildly. Her shadowy figure chilled spines as hatred swelled in her heart. She mocked self-sacrifice, calling living for others pure stupidity. The boss, terrified, shouted like he'd seen a ghost, trying to flee. But the door slammed shut. Hell itself barred his escape. Cornered, he drew his gun for a desperate last stand. Darkened Dian smirked, viewing him as nothing but a bug. Dark mist coiled around his gun, freezing his arm solid. A black aura gripped his throat like death's own hand. Evil Dian coldly avenged the innocents he had tortured. She swung her arm, shadows storming him like a midnight tempest. He begged for mercy, promising to erase the debt, desperate to live. She feigned thought, then smiled wickedly. Mercy, sounds fun. With a flick of her wrist, death answered silently. He screamed once before darkness devoured him whole. Then a voice cut through her rage. Miss Dian, stop! Bei Ming pleaded earnestly that killing evil only deepens pain. Evil Dian sneered, saying she was merely protecting the weak self within. She argued that without her, the true self would be crushed by guilt. Her words made Bei Ming hesitate, his heart wavering. He turned to Hao Tian, suspecting Miss Dian was possessed by demonic QE. Hao Tian analyzed it was strong trauma, plus dark energy unleashing her alter ego. Bei Ming guessed it might be split personality, but he was exhausted. Hao Tian proposed taking over his body to save them both. Bei Ming doubted, asking why he couldn't just absorb the evil energy like before. Hao Tian snapped it, now had consciousness, so only brute force could extract it. Realizing that, Bei Ming readied himself for action. They planned Bei Ming would awaken her first, though Hao Tian grumbled it was pointless. Evil Dian glanced at Bei Ming, realizing he was the one her true self wished to protect. She scoffed, calling him a weakness to eliminate, but Bei Ming demanded she return Miss Dian's body. Dark mist surged toward him in an instant attack. She bound him tight in black energy. Furious yet he still stood firm for his promise. His stubbornness intrigued her, curiosity stirred within the darkness. She teased that he was just smitten with his teacher's beauty. Bei Ming blushed furiously, denying everything in panic. Hao Tian muttered from the sidelines, "Yeah, sure." Evil Dian moved closer, brushing his skin, half teasing, half probing his heart. She purred, "What a waste to die like this, how about one last lesson?" She leaned closer, her breath brushing his neck. Bei Ming jolted, heart pounding wildly, frozen in shock. He gritted his teeth, ordering her not to defile Miss Dian's body. She giggled, delighted by his awkwardness, teasing even harder. They ended up in a compromising pose. Evil Dian laughed wickedly, thrilled. Bei Ming wondered what had birthed such darkness inside his once kind teacher. He coldly declared she was just a parasitic thought, not the body's rightful owner. She knelt, her hand sliding along his leg, purring, "How much do you really know her?" Bei Ming didn't deny it, but firmly stated the real Dian wasn't like her. The more he spoke, the more Evil Dian wanted to break him. Her dark aura wrapped around his neck, choking him. He scrambled to think of a counter. Outside, Hao Tian folded his arms, calling it a well-shot supernatural romance scene. Furious, Bei Ming yelled for him to stop joking and help as the dark force tightened. Hao Tian shouted back, demanding control of his body to end this mess. Stubbornly, Bei Ming refused, vowing not to let anyone touch Miss Dian, even if it killed him. Evil Dian kept caressing him playfully, taunting without pause. Beiming blushed, stammering for her to stop. He told himself to hold back, though she wasn't the real Dian. That body still was he had to fight. He whispered, "You want to know why I care about her? Fine, I'll tell you." He recalled the dark days after his accident, tortured by brutal rehab. He once hoped to live a normal student life again, but that dream shattered. Friends and teachers abandoned him, leaving only self-hate and despair. In rage, Beiming punched the floor, venting his pain. Then he remembered a gentle voice that had pulled him from that abyss. Miss Diane's smile appeared soft, encouraging, lifting him up again. That smile was winter sunlight, warming his frozen soul. The memory stung his eyes, tears nearly fell. Even in chaos, his heart still held her kind image alone. He poured his soul out, confessing clumsily but sincerely that he wanted to protect her smile forever. Hao Tian burst into hysterical laughter, calling it the worst confession ever. Beiming blushed, claiming it was reverse psychology, which only made Hao Tian laugh harder. But to their shock, it worked. Miss Diane's true consciousness began to return. Hao Tian gawked, cursing in disbelief that the kid actually succeeded. The dark aura around Beiming weakened, its power fading. Sensing the moment, Hao Tian yelled for him to hold her tight so he could draw out the darkness. Beiming embraced Miss Diane gently, whispering an apology before saving her. The remaining evil energy roared back, lunging to consume them both. Miss Diane panicked, begging Beiming to let her go. Evil Diane seized control again, furious at being drained, screaming to stop. She hissed seductively, claiming he was hurting. Not saving could he protect her forever. She fought to stay alive, threatening to kill him if he didn't release her. Finally, Miss Diane collapsed, fainting into deep unconsciousness. Beiming whispered an apology, admitting he'd tricked her with true emotion only to save her. He lifted her gently, facing the lingering darkness, murmuring, "Rest now." Hao Tian grinned triumphantly, feeling demonic power surge, grumbling yet impressed. Suddenly, he caught strange sounds approaching. A squad of armed men shouted that their boss had been attacked. They stormed in with guns blazing. Without hesitation, they fired wildly at Beiming, yelling to kill. But every bullet was stopped cold by his shimmering magic barrier. The leader panicked, ordering a ceasefire, leaving his men confused. They gawked as bullets hung midair, like witnessing real magic. Beiming glared coldly, declaring people like them cause innocent suffering. He thundered that he'd give them one more chance to be human. The gang froze, drenched in sweat, too scared to move. Beiming gritted his teeth and shouted "absorb" as dark energy spiraled around him. The black-clad thugs trembled, babbled apologies, and fled for their lives. Carrying Miss Dian, Beiming walked off with Hao Tian, who mocked them as cowards. Beiming replied that the priority was getting his teacher to the hospital, though guilt gnawed at him. As they passed the old corridor, a familiar voice called, "Who let you wreck this place?" Beiming turned to see Shan Luo, half smiling, half scolding. He bowed, apologizing for overdoing it, while saving his teacher. Hao Tian quipped, "Pay with your body," leaving Beiming speechless. Beiming laughed awkwardly, begging Shan Luo for leniency, saying he was just a broke student. Shan Luo waved it off, signaled his guards, and smiled, saying no need to repay. His car was ready. Take her to the hospital. He led the way. Beiming followed, carrying Miss Dian, flattering his wealthy friend, while Hao Tian eyed him suspiciously. Hao Tian smirked quietly, concluding Shan Luo definitely had secrets. Under dim moonlight, Shan Luo ordered the driver to West Crossing Hospital, and the man replied, "Yes, young master." The golden luxury car sped off. Beiming marveled, while Shan Luo said coolly, "Just a grocery car." Hao Tian, perched on the roof, scoffed, saying if Beiming listened to him, he'd have cars like that to spare. The moon hid behind clouds, mist-veiling the dreamlike scene. Soon, they arrived at the hospital. Outside the VIP room, Shan Luo asked Director Liu about the patient. He replied Miss Dian was stable and left after expressing gratitude. Inside, Miss Dian lay pale and still, an IV dripping at her side. Shan Luo reassured Beiming that the wounds were under control. He narrowed his eyes, smiling slyly. "But how did you know she was that badly hurt? Could it be?" Beiming grew serious, countering, "You can sense dark ki, can't you? And you help for free. You're not the type to lose profit. What's your game?" Shan Luo feigned surprise, eyes glinting with amusement. Hao Tian laughed, praising Beiming's sharpness, while Beiming replied he never trusted random kindness. Shan Luo burst out laughing, admitting he never does anything without gain right on target. He tossed a phone toward Beiming, saying, "Watch this, you'll understand." Beiming caught it, frowning, "What's in here?" Hao Tian butted in, "Show me too, come on." On the phone was a photo of Beiming wearing a dog head, leaving him stunned. "How did you get this?" Shan Luo smirked, saying one of his men snapped it by chance, then teasing, "So, it's really you, huh?" Beiming and Hao Tian froze, shocked their identity had been guessed. Enraged, Beiming confronted him. Shan Luo calmly claimed to be just a regular rich guy, which only made it funnier. The ridiculous answer left Hao Tian speechless, shooting Beiming a helpless look. Shan Luo then admitted seriously he admired Beiming, not out of malice, patting his chest to prove sincerity. Bei Ming couldn't believe it, asking why a rich man like him would admire him. Shan Luo said, "Because you have something I crave." Bei Ming guessed randomly, "My looks," prompting Ha Tian to roast him for delusion. Shan Luo's tone grew intense. What he desired wasn't wealth or status, but absolute power. He nearly screamed, eyes blazing with fury and despair. Shan Luo shouted that only power could help him defeat his brother and avenge his mother. The room fell silent. Bei Ming and Ha Tian exchanged puzzled looks. Regaining composure, Shan Luo apologized and earnestly asked Bei Ming to help him gain that strength. Bei Ming agreed. Moved by his honesty, Ha Tian joked, easing the tension. Suddenly, coughing and sobbing echoed next door. Miss Diane had awakened. She cried in her nightmare, calling for her sister in panic. Bei Ming rushed to comfort her while Ha Tian observed quietly. Bei Ming solemnly said he knew a bit about her family's past cooperation with the Shan clan. Shan Luo revealed that the sister she called was Sister Lion Xin, who died saving her. The words stunned Bei Ming. Disbelief flickered in his trembling eyes. How Tian analyzed that Miss Diane didn't have split personality. It was guilt tormenting her. Bei Ming realized he might been wrong. His face darkened as he looked sadly at the frail Miss Diane. Her fingers twitched, trembling weakly. Suddenly, Bei Ming's phone rang. He answered. Nis, faint voice begged for help, freezing his blood. Hearing her desperate cry, Bei Ming went pale, heart racing. He shouted for her location but only heard her whisper, "I'm at school." The call dropped, signal gone. Bei Ming's eyes turned deadly cold. He roared in anger, calling back, only to hear the lifeless tone of disconnection, his fear mounting. Shan Luo advised calm and offered to call the police, but Bei Ming guessed Na was at school. Hao Tian instantly agreed to go. Bei Ming placed a grateful hand on Shan Luo's shoulder, saying he truly owed him and now saw him as a friend. He looked deeply into Shan Luo's eyes, asking one final favor. Shan Luo smiled confidently. "What do you need me to do?" Bei Ming asked him to care for Miss Diane, whose mind was fragile. Shan Luo firmly promised he would. Bei Ming stood by the window, vowing to repay him someday, then prepared to leave. With that, he and Ha Tian leapt out the window, black-purple energy bursting around them. Shan Luo stared, pale with shock. They had jumped from the third floor like it was nothing. Then he smirked proudly, believing with Bei Ming's help, he'd soon rise and make his whole clan kneel before him. Under the moonlight, Hao Tian sternly asked if Bei Ming truly planned to serve Shan Luo, swearing he'd never be a rich man's lackey. Bei Ming laughed, saying he wasn't stupid enough to be a slave. He was just using Shan Lu for mutual gain. As they sprinted across rooftops, black energy flared from Bei Ming's hands. He said he'd pretend to admire Shan Luo to lower his guard. Hao Tian growled that he didn't even need to pretend, but Bei Ming cut him off, saying he must now stabilize his demonic power. The energy on Bei Ming's hands grew stronger, prompting Hao Tian's shocked praise. This wasn't the same naive kid anymore. His tie whipped in the wind as he dashed forward, determined to adapt and mature, while Hao Tian laughed darkly, urging him to go faster. As they ran, Hao Tian mused that though Bei Ming was stronger, he still lacked a body. He'd wait patiently to strike back someday. Bei Ming's phone rang again, hoping it was Dai Ni. He was stunned to hear Shan Luo's voice instead. Frowning, Bei Ming asked for news. Shan Luo calmly said Miss Diane was fine and sent him a strange video before hanging up. On screen appeared a girl in cat makeup cheerfully calling herself Meljiang, urging everyone to like and comment 6 at 66. She spoke about a past mysterious disappearance at the school, vowing to uncover the truth. Bei Ming recognized her as Dai Nu's friend. Meljiang passionately declared she'd sneak into the school to film everything, sending the live chat into frenzy. Suddenly, Dai Nu's voice pleaded for her to stop, but the girl, real name Swang, angrily insisted she must protect her Mel Chan persona. Seeing Dai Nihai appear in the video, Bei Ming gasped she was indeed at the school, and the clip must have been recorded before her disappearance. Trembling, Swang promised to meet viewers again inside. Bei Ming gritted his teeth, ordering to speed up. Hao Tian grumbled not to drag him into more trouble. The vast, silent school loomed before them in the night. They landed hard, the echo resounding across the courtyard. Red sparks crackled underfoot, tension thick as smoke. Bei Ming confirmed this was where Dai Nai entered, ordering Hao Tian to track by scent while he conserved energy. Hao Tian fumed at being treated like an energy-efficient sniffing dog. Bei Ming hurriedly flattered him as a divine breathing god. Pleased, Hao Tian inhaled deeply, boasting his sense of smell was the world's best, then began tracking. But he froze. He couldn't smell anything, a total void at that moment. Shan Luo called asking if they'd reached the school. Bei Ming calmly confirmed. Shan Luo praised their speed, fast as wind, then sent another video. On screen, Swang reappeared brightly, announcing Mel Chan is back, and said they were heading to the archive room, with fans cheering wildly. Suddenly, Nai screamed, urging to run. Something strange was chasing them. She grabbed Swang's hand, sprinting down the hall. A loud crash, the phone hit the floor. Swang shouted not to pick it up. The camera now showed only the ceiling as comments exploded with panic. 3 twisted demons appeared, grinning grotesquely, making viewers scream in horror. The phone's feed suddenly went dark. No more signal. Bei Ming panicked, deducing Dai Lai was being hunted, and ordered they head to the archive. Hao Tian agreed, following a faint trail he'd just caught. Shuddering at how close they were to being late, they dashed full speed toward the archives. Dark clouds swallowed the moon, and the air turned eerily cold. At the door, they sensed no trace of demonic aura, only deepening suspicion. Behind them, a massive shadow loomed, a giant paw pressing into the ground. A three-headed hellhound emerged. Hao Tian foolishly muttered the place was perfectly safe, making Bei Ming chuckle and agree. In that instant of carelessness, the beast lunged from the darkness with murderous intent. Its fiery eyes blazed, fangs snapping toward Bei Ming's neck with a growl. Die! Fortunately, its paw crushed a shard of glass, breaking the silence. Thanks to the sound, Bei Ming and Hao Tian spun away, just in time to dodge the lethal bite. Shocked but steadying himself, Bei Ming hissed coldly, "A sneak attack, dream on." He asked Hao Tian why he couldn't sense it. Hao Tian swore no demon could ever hide its scent from him. Then realization struck: it was a mirror domain barrier, sealing off all senses. The hellhound stood over rubble, its spiked body ablaze with fire. Bei Ming frowned, asking what a mirror domain barrier was and how it blocked perception. Hao Tian explained it created two parallel spaces, masking all energy and awareness. He emphasized it was hiding sorcery beyond human ability, proof someone was hiding a dark secret within the school. Bei Ming nodded grimly, sensing the beast's dark aura matched Miss Diane's. Perhaps she too had been a victim of this same corruption. The massive demon roared, fire blazing from its eyes, determined to rip apart the two who dared challenge it. Bei Ming clenched his fists, red flames rising though smaller in form. His will burned bright. Anyone threatening Dai Nai would pay. His punch exploded like thunder, shattering the glass barrier into glittering shards. But the beast caught the blow in its steel jaws, holding firm, shocking Bei Ming. Stunned it could withstand him, Bei Ming smirked. Impressive, but next time, don't block with your teeth. Hard to answer questions without them. His arm turned to stone, smashing down. The creature's fangs cracked apart, with screams echoing through the night. The other two heads panicked. One wanted to flee. The other wailed, "My teeth!" before both lunged in rage. It strained, jaws glowing red, trying to crush Bei Ming in sheer hatred. Fire burst like fireworks, yet Bei Ming calmly raised a hand, that cold smile never fading. Growing bored, he muttered, "I'm done playing fetch," and prepared a real strike. With one swing, nearby wood splintered into dust, too fast for human eyes to follow. Trees split apart as the hellhound realized his speed was inhuman. Has not mortal. Run! Bei Ming leapt high, driving his knee into its skull, sparks and thunder erupting on impact. Hao Tian gawked, horrified. Bei Ming now radiated the aura of a true demon god. Standing atop the beast's head, Bei Ming hesitated, not wanting to kill before getting answers. His face hardened, voice low and sharp, "Dying ignorant would be a waste, you stubborn mutt." Suddenly, the demon lunged again, biting both his legs, leaving him dangling midair. Even trapped, Bei Ming stayed calm, scolding like a teacher, "Good bite. Now behave and answer properly." The demon roared instead, spewing black fire straight at him. Hell's breath engulfed everything, flames devouring space with destructive fury. When the fire died, the beast froze. Its foe still stood unharmed. Bei Ming stepped from the blaze, drawing the radiant demon-slaying sword, exuding dominance. He glared coldly. "Now talk. Why are you here? Who sent you? What's the school's secret?" All three heads trembled, eyes bloodshot, screaming, "Impossible! He understands our tongue!" Terrified, they tried retreating. "Run! Don't let him know!" But Bei Ming landed coolly, half smiling. "So, there is a secret." His expression gleamed with pride. He knew he could crush them, and their silence was punishment enough. Hao Tian watched, realizing Bei Ming might slaughter them all. A dark thought crossed his mind: this body could be perfect for me. He approached slowly, pretending to mediate. "Easy, kid. Let me handle it. It's one of my kin. Ill-discipline the stray myself." Inside, Hao Tian schemed to push the beast to its limit, forcing it to unleash all its power to test if it could withstand merging with him. As Hao Tian advanced, the three heads reacted differently. One bowed in awe, one sneered, one muttered, "Why was the celestial hound chained on heaven's bridge?" Hao Tian's eyes flashed cold. "You know me and still dare bark. Let's see what's inside those skulls." The beast trembled but snarled, "Traitor to our clan, lapdog of humans, you deserve death." Hao Tian sneered, mocking to provoke it. "You just annoy me, that's all." Bei Ming crossed his arms, unimpressed. "With acting like that, you'll get no intel." Hao Tian seethed inside. "Once I regain my body, you'll be the first to die." The dark beast collapses, begging under Hao Tian's feet, claiming it only wanted revenge after years of torment. Flames flare around Hao Tian as he sneers, "After I eat you, I'll avenge you from my belly." The beast goes berserk, roaring that Hao Tian is a disgrace and swearing to tear him apart. Furious, it swells up and charges at Hao Tian in a fiery frenzy. A deafening explosion wipes out everything like a nuke. The monster's jaws swallow Hao Tian, leaving only chains spinning in the air. Bei Ming gapes, unable to believe Hao Tian got eaten alive. The evil hound boasts proudly, thinking it's slain a legend. Bei Ming, torn between doubt and rage, raises his sword and demands Hao Tian back. The beast's belly bursts open as it screams in agony. Bei Ming freezes, clueless about what's happening. The creature explodes, showering blood and flesh, throwing Beiming backward. He covers his face, wondering, self-destruction. Could it be? From the smoke, Hao Tian appears perfectly alive. Hao Tian spits out a tiny black puppy and mocks, "You think it'd die that easily?" The puppy hits the ground. It's the hound's true form. Hao Tian sighs, disappointed that the mighty foe was such a weakling. Beiming hugs his friend joyfully, unaware of Hao Tian's secret schemes. Beiming absorbs demonic energy, thrilled by his surging power. Hao Tian watches, seething with envy but swallows his pride. Beiming notices the black puppy belongs to a noble's gatekeeper. The pup trembles, begging mercy, saying dark energy possessed it. Hao Tian threatens it to lead them to his target. He urges the group to find Minai, secretly wishing for trouble to slip away. The story shifts to Mina's side. Mai Ni and Mu Shang hide in the gym, discussing the monster attack. Mu Shang thanks Mi Ni for saving them, while Mai Ni ponders the strange aura she sensed. Mu Shang clings to Mi Ni, terrified and regretful for bringing her there. Mai Ni comforts her, saying help is coming, though she worries for Beiming. A creaking door freezes them in fear. Mai Ni grabs a broom, ready to fight whoever it is. The door opens slowly, her heart pounding with every creak. Her eyes mix fear and killing intent, a reluctant warrior's gaze. Beiming's voice breaks the tension. He rushes in, relieved that Mi Ni is safe. Mai Ni just nods quietly. Mu Shang throws herself into Beiming's arms, crying with joy. She blushes, promising a hot photo set as thanks. Both Beiming and Hao Tian nosebleed at the thought. The joy ends abruptly when Mi Ni cuts in coldly. She snaps her broom, scolding Beiming for hugging publicly. He awkwardly suggests they leave the danger zone. But Hao Tian insists on investigating, convincing Beiming to stay and uncover the truth. Beiming realizes the school will never be safe unless they solve this mystery. He plans to send Mi Ni away, but both girls insist on joining, so he leads them with Hao Tian. Hao Tian clicks his tongue, annoyed by the girls' squad, but pretends to lead seriously. They reach a dark spiral staircase underground, trembling yet curious. Hao Tian reveals this place isn't part of the school, it's a copied dimension. Beiming's eyes widen, fascinated by the strange duplication magic. Mu Shang clings to Beiming's arm, scared yet puzzled by the emptiness around. He awkwardly glances at Mi Ni, who's glaring daggers at him. Mai Ni grabs his other arm, pretending to be scared just to tease him back. The clueless guy calmly says, afraid of the dark, you're weird. Mai Ni squeezes his arm hard, making Beiming yelp for mercy. Hao Tian watches the scene, both jealous and amused, jokingly asking to borrow Beiming's body for a bit. Suddenly, a wave of dark aura engulfs them, making everyone dizzy. Beiming recognizes it as soul-devouring miasma and shouts a warning. He anxiously checks if the girls are hurt. Mai Ni coughs, claiming it's just dust, while Mu Shang laments dropping her phone at the worst time. Beiming grows restless, determined to protect them no matter what. A flash of inspiration hits him, a plan to save the group. He tells Mai Ni and Mu Shang to stay back, promising to face the danger alone. A black magic circle with spikes forms beneath his feet, glowing eerily. He summons Xiao Hua to guard the girls, then rushes off after reassuring them. On the way, Hao Tian starts chatting nonsense, but Beiming brushes him off to focus. Sternly, he says time is running out. Hao Tian hushes him, quiet, something's ahead. They freeze, hiding behind a wall to peek. The dark aura ahead is suffocating, hinting a secret about to unfold. Beiming peers through a crack, heart pounding. The truth lies before him. A room filled with talismans stands before them. A strange man stirs fire in a weird jar. Looking closer, Beiming's stunned. It's the headmaster, whispering shady deals over the phone. He and Hao Tian realize the miasma flows from the jar, its stench nearly choking them. Beiming deduces the school's disasters are his doing and vows to stop him. Hao Tian warns that the jar holds deadly power, no rash moves. Swallowing anger, Beiming agrees to retreat after hearing Hao Tian mark the location. Still, Hao Tian feels reluctant. If that jar holds what he thinks, touching it would be suicide. In the talisman-covered room, the headmaster coldly promises over the phone to finish forging the artifact. After hanging up, a grotesque evil spirit appears, whispering reports to him. He smirks, mentioning Beiming's name with sinister amusement, saying the boy's lucky for now. The next morning, Beiming and Hao Tian walk to school, chatting about Mi Ni taking leave out of fear. Hao Tian teases him, making Beiming freeze, thinking he's being accused of being in heat. They're shocked to find the school sealed by a high-level barrier of dark aura. They run into the F4 gang, who mock Beiming as a poor dreamer. He just laughs awkwardly. Shen Luo asks about Mi Ni, and Beiming says she's resting at home. One guy overhears and assumes something happened between them. Shen Luo says someone else is looking after Mi Ni, warning Beiming to keep his distance. After F4 leaves, Beiming feels smug, thinking such allies could be useful. Hao Tian snickers, teasing him to invite Mu Rushu to the group, making Beiming blush and deny it. As they joke around, a hand suddenly lands on Beiming's shoulder. He turns and freezes. It's the headmaster, the same man he spied on last night. His mind races, his showing up in daylight. What's he planning? Beiming forces a calm greeting, while Hao Tian urges him to strike now. He snaps back, are you crazy? Fight during class. You want me expelled? The headmaster smiles warmly, asking why Bei Ming's eyes are so dark. Has he been staying up late? The question freezes Bei Ming. He suspects the headmaster's probing and reminds himself to stay calm. He quickly lies about studying late to cover up last night's secret investigation. Not wanting more questions, he bows and makes an excuse to leave. They leave fast. Bei Ming prefers avoidance while Hao Tian mocks him for being cowardly. Bei Ming retorts seriously that it's a strategic retreat, not running away. Suddenly, the headmaster calls him back, asking for a private talk in his office. Bei Ming nods warily, suspecting another shady setup. In the office, the headmaster fakes concern, asking about family and studies. Bei Ming politely plays along. He thinks if the man wants to act, he'll act too to see who lasts longer. When asked about academics, Bei Ming clenches his fist and vows confidently to pass university exams. The headmaster shifts tone, praising Bei Ming's heroism during the gym collapse. Bei Ming blushes, scratching his head, saying he just did what was right and is glad he wasn't expelled. The smile vanishes. The headmaster's eyes go cold as he curses inwardly. This brat acts well. He changes tone again, pretending to ask something serious. He bombards Bei Ming with suspicious questions about his disability and survival, clearly a trap. His eyes flash with killing intent, staring as if to pierce Bei Ming's soul. Bei Ming drops the polite act, smirking coldly and telling him to speak plainly. He answers fearlessly, voice sharp and eyes steady, making the air in the room tense like a drawn blade. The headmaster freezes, then laughs maniacally, praising Bei Ming's wit and hinting he knows about last night. He grins darkly, openly referring to the previous night's events with veiled threat. Hao Tian warns Bei Ming that the enemy has shown his hand. Prepare to fight. Black aura gushes from the headmaster as he says coldly he could have killed Bei Ming long ago. Bei Ming stands firm, red flames bursting around him, daring him to try. Instead of attacking, the headmaster changes tone, offering to recruit Bei Ming to his side. He smiles slyly, dangling scholarships and elite universities as sweet bait. Still pretending virtue, he rambles about moral duty and devotion to education over money. Then his voice turns icy, but if you refuse, making Bei Ming tense up. He lifts his hand, a cup flies into it, pulsing with dark power. An evil spirit appears behind him, crushing the cup to dust as a warning. Enraged, Bei Ming's flames flare as he growls, "You think you can threaten me with me ni?" The headmaster sneers, saying he won't kill her, hell make her live in despair forever. The threat makes Bei Ming explode with fury, shouting, "You scum in a teacher's robe!" He grits his teeth, voice low and deadly, "If I kill you now, would you still smirk?" The headmaster narrows his eyes, growling, "So you refuse my offer?" Bei Ming's killing intent surges as he says hell do only one thing for him. He roars, "Prepare your own funeral," and launches a flaming punch. But just then, a knock on the door interrupts him. Mu Rishu's voice calls from outside, reporting student council business. The headmaster's eyes instantly chill. He hides his killing intent and calmly says, "Come in." The door opens. Mu Rishu walks in, unknowingly stopping a deadly battle. Bei Ming and Hao Tian freeze. Her sudden arrival and beauty leave them stunned. The headmaster slips on a gentle smile, telling Bei Ming softly, "You may go, and think carefully about my offer." The old man quickly scribbles a note for Bei Ming, urging him to think carefully. He hesitates, then nods in agreement with the headmaster. Bei Ming and Hao Tian hurry out of the office. Mu Rishu quietly tells him not to act now. She turns back, saying to meet after class at the school gate. Both are surprised. Hao Tian suspects some bonus might be coming. At the gate, they wait. Bei Ming wonders why the goddess made such a public invitation. A luxury car splashes water all over Bei Ming, leaving him frozen. Inside, the F4 gang laughs, mocking him for being too poor for a car. The brown-haired one grins smugly while Shen Lua stays silent. Soaked, Bei Ming lowers his head, face dark as thunder. Hao Tian fumes, shouting to beat those jerks up. But Bei Ming just pretends to shoo mosquitoes, playing dumb. He waves his arms seriously like a mosquito-slaying master. One of F4 curses him crazy and tells him to back off. Right then, the car roof dents and a terrifying bang freezes them. Two panic, yelling the car's new and uninsured. Bei Ming calmly says he was just swatting mosquitoes, his blood type attracts them. Their faces twist in rage and tears, but they don't dare retaliate. While F4 still trembles, Mu Rishu's car pulls up. She calls out loudly, telling Bei Ming to hop in. She urges again, sounding impatient. To everyone's shock, Bei Ming simply replies alright, and steps into the blazing red car. F4 gape in disbelief. The Ice Queen's ride is as hot as her looks. Inside, Shen Lu stays silent, eyes distant. He seethes, wondering why Shed seek Bei Ming, the man he refuses to let anyone have. At Mu Rishu's luxurious apartment, she tells them to wait while she prepares, assuring it's under a safety barrier. Bei Ming blushes furiously, heart racing, his first time in a girl's room. He looks around, shocked to find everything pink. The icy goddess loves cute colors. He freezes as Mu Rishu's shower sounds fill the air, unsure where to look. Hao Tian teases him, hinting it's a golden chance while secretly plotting to possess Bei Ming's body. Bei Ming frowns, asking seriously, "What do you mean by that?" Hao Tian mocks aloud but curses inwardly, calling him too soft-throated. Bei Ming blushes deeper, his mind full of steamy images, heating the air around him. Hao Tian howls beside him like a wolf under the moon. Bei Ming mutters, "That mutt pretending to be a wolf, what an idiot." The bathroom door creaks open, cutting off their ridiculous thoughts. Hao Tian yells a battle warning like it's wartime, prepare for combat. Mu Shu steps out, stunningly beautiful, softly asking, "Aren't you taking a shower? You're drenched." Bei Ming stands frozen, stammering, "No, I'm fine." Hao Tian glares, cursing him for wasting divine opportunity. Mu Shu turns serious, saying she knows who's behind it and will handle it herself, telling Bei Ming to leave. He refuses, insisting on helping her to repay this morning's favor and not letting her face danger alone. On the highway, the red convertible speeds through the wind. The driver says she'll conceal her demonic aura. Fearing discovery by Zhongmingju, the other asks what that is. Mu Shu explains Zhongmingju is an ancient organization that hunts demons to keep the world's balance. She continues there are two clans, Night Beasts and Sun Beasts. She belongs to the night side, allowed to act only after dark. Bei Ming is stunned, realizing the peaceful world hides terrifying secrets. Mu Shu calmly says some truths are better left unknown, but for now, he must know where he stands and obey her to survive. She warns sternly, no matter what happens, don't fight back, or Zhongmingju will hunt him down. He nods in agreement. Outwardly compliant, Bei Ming secretly vows not to stand idle if she's in danger and senses the organization is far from simple. He quietly asks Hao Tian through thought, but the spirit snaps back, it knows nothing except that the three realms stay balanced by barriers. Hao Tian adds he's never heard of Zhongmingju, making things even murkier. Bei Ming suspects Mu Shu is testing him but listens as she continues explaining the Sun and Night Beast clans. She says millennia ago, both sides joined forces to fight a monstrous being that devoured the celestial sphere. Bei Ming feigns shock, while Hao Tian sweats, stammering about bad memory before laughing it off. Inside, he worries Mu Shu cleverly baited him into revealing old secrets. Fragments return. Hao Tian vaguely recalls fighting Yangjian, with Zhongmingju aiding the humans. Meanwhile, Mu Shu glances at Bei Ming, thinking has tight-lipped shall probe later. For now, she must save Xiaoji. When the car stops before a grand castle, Bei Ming gapes while Hao Tian howls in awe. Regaining composure, Bei Ming quietly asks if Hao Tian smells something strange. It confirms, saying it's familiar but stronger now. The trio step through the gate, greeted by a crowd glowing under shimmering magic light. The group recognizes Mu Shu, murmuring it's odd for a night beast to appear by day, then pry about the boy with her. She frowns, sensing things slipping beyond control. Even the sun beasts can't intervene. A familiar elder rushes over, voice full of worry. Mu Shu replies firmly, telling Uncle Ye to calm down and explain what happened. He sorrowfully says Xiaoji was possessed, waking up berserk and attacking everyone. Even Zhongmingju couldn't restrain her. The Zhongmingju members explain they had to build a four-sided barrier just to hold the girl down. Mu Shu fumes. Daylight means she, a night beast, can't cast spells. Uncle Yi kneels, begging her to save his only daughter. She answers solemnly that Xiaoji is her friend and shall save her no matter what. With that, she opens the sealed door and steps inside. As she enters, she vows to save her friend even without magic, but the sight inside shocks her speechless. Xiaoji hangs upside down from the ceiling, eyes glowing red, clothes shredded, barely human anymore. The twisted girl croaks upon hearing her voice, "You," then lunges forward, grinning eerily, saying she missed her. Mu Shu dodges and shouts, asking why she has become like this, hoping her friend has some sanity left. She silently prays, just hold on till dusk when the seal can break. Dark miasma floods the room, forcing Mu Shu to keep dodging. She desperately tries to awaken her friend's memories, reminding her of their promise to protect each other forever. Xiaoji smiles coldly, saying she's never felt better reborn in you. She stumps hard, ordering Mu Shu to lie still on the bed. Overpowered, Mu Shu can't resist for the moment. Xiaoji approaches, confessing she's loved Mu Shu for ages and now her dream of being together has finally come true. Mu Shu gasps in shock. Outside, people watch Bei Ming slam his hand on the ground, puzzled by what the student is doing. Some whisper that Mu Shu rejected countless masters, yet now a random boy stands beside her. Jealousy flares. Bei Ming speaks grimly, sensing the goddess is in grave danger. Though forbidden to act, he knows he can't stay idle. He tells Hao Tian has thinking something stupid, asking if I swallow the sun will night come faster. Hao Tian snorts once, maybe. Now, lend me your body if you dare. Bei Ming sighs and shakes his head. Forget I asked, every time you just want my body, pervert. He turns away, deciding to stop worrying about himself. Hao Tian blurts, hey kid, what are you planning? The Zhongmingju soldiers sneer, mocking that Mu Shu fights inside, while the student hides some even joke he wants to rescue her for a kiss of gratitude. Bei Ming's face darkens. He grips one man's shoulder coldly. Move. You're in my way. He adds with disdain that they're all talk heroes in words only, shaming their ancestors. The group erupts angrily. One snaps, asking where he crawled from. Another taunts, try being a hero when you've got the strength, kid. Bei Ming smirks faintly, eyes sharp, leave now or don't blame me if you get hurt. They shout back, calling him arrogant and warning him to scram before he gets dragged in. but before they finish, the sealed door blasts open. Murushu is thrown out, knocking several over. Beiming just mutters, "Told you so." He sighs, rushing forward to catch her, using his energy shield to soften her fall. Her silver hair flutters. He gently asks, "Are you alright?" She blushes, turning away, stammering, "What are you doing? I told you not to interfere." Beiming smiles confidently. "How could I stand by while you're in danger?" Murushu rises, flicking her hair, saying she could handle it but will overlook it this time. Hao Tian whistles. "Nice, showing off now." The Zhongmingju members whisper in awe, realizing the boy has real power. The aura around him doesn't feel human. Then a familiar voice calls out. A Zhongmingju agent steps forth, saying, "Lady Mu, this mission is ours. The sun beasts handle rogue night beasts." He glares sharply, snapping, "Night beasts shouldn't meddle in daylight. You've crossed the line." He points downward with contempt, as if ready to crush her. His followers cheer wildly, hailing Brother Kun of the sun beasts, as thunderous energy fills the air. Murushu remains calm, ignoring him completely, leaving him frozen midair. He fumes inside, "Arrogant woman, you'll kneel before me soon." With arms crossed, he lectures that weak women should rely on strong men. Beiming and Hao Tian both scowl. He turns to Beiming, sneering that the boy's just a weed dreaming of climbing walls not worthy of Murushu. He goes on, claiming he smells demonic aura on Beiming, mocking that low-tier demons don't belong here, and he could crush him with 2 fingers. He boasts he'll capture Beiming for Zhongmingju. His lackeys cheer, thinking the matter's over. Arrogantly, he says it'll take 5 seconds tops, signaling them to start the countdown. They chant 5, but don't reach 4. Has suddenly blasted away in a blur, clueless what hit him. The crowd stares wide-eyed. "One hit, for real!" Beiming stands amid the smoke, flaming hand still raised, catching the unconscious Brother Kun. The man lies flat like a fly under a swatter. Beiming says coolly, "Arrogant ones never live long." Keep that line, then shrugs, "Honestly, I don't even know what that meant. Anyway, if you want act, I will." The others flush with anger, shouting his insane Murushu couldn't win, yet this schoolboy dares dream. Beiming just smiles faintly, not for reward, just don't want to owe her. Uncle Yi hesitates, but Murushu interjects firmly that he once saved her life and can be trusted. The elder nods. "If Xiao Yu says so, I entrust Xiao Ji to you. Please bring her back." Beiming raises his hand firmly. "Don't worry, I'm used to this," and strides inside with determination. Murushu blushes, wondering why he risks exposing himself to help her. Her heart races uncontrollably. Hao Tian growls in outrage. "Traitor? In the one who saved her?" Beiming laughs. "Heh, jealous much?" The demon snaps. "Jealous? I've never tasted anything sour in my life." Beiming grows serious. "Enough joking. Let's end this fast, then hunt the headmaster. No more students should get hurt." Entering, Beiming sees Xiaoji sniffing Murushu's clothes, murmuring, "This is you scent." He sighs, possessed yet still stylish. Hao Tian snorts, "What is this? Scent fetish." Xiaoji notices them, grinning wickedly. "Oh, a new guest, and a man too, not bad." She lunges forward eagerly. "I hope you can play with me properly." Beiming raises his hand. Crimson energy bursts forth. "Fine. You want to play? I'll play?" He smirks. "If it's a game you want, I'll play to the end. No half measures." The surge of power makes Xiaoji flinch. Instinctive fear rises within her. She backs up, then leaps onto the bed, eyes darting nervously. Thoughts race. Something's wrong. Has different no weakness at all. Beiming grins. "So, how shall we play?" "Oh right, maybe I catch you, then drain your evil aura." Hao Tian gapes. "Are you curing her or scaring her to death?" Xiaoji recoils, trembling. The man's scent terrifies her. Her imagination spirals out of control, creating wild, indecent scenes. Scene 1, she's tied to the bed, unable to move. Scene 2, her clothes ripped, Beiming holding a whip with a devilish smile. Scene 3, candles lit, his shadowed grin gleaming on her face. All imaginary, but she screams, "No! I don't want to play with you!" The two men freeze. Neither can read minds. Beiming blurts, "Play what?" Hao Tian facepalms. "Nice, you scared her half to death." Xiaoji shrieks, thrashing, "Stay away! I belong only to you! You can't have me!" Beiming blinks. "Ha! What did I even do?" He raises a hand calmly. "I'm not bad. I just want to drain the miasma and help you. We're classmates." But his words make it worse. She trembles, stammering, "Drain" in sheer horror. She screams louder, "Pervert! And you call yourself good?" Beiming and Hao Tian stand dumbfounded. Beiming mutters, "Why do I sound like a criminal now?" Hao Tian shrugs wisely. If a man's not naughty, no one notices him. Beiming snaps, "You learned that from comics?" The terrified blonde shakes. While the two men argue, Hao Tian finally snaps, saying he'll handle it violently if needed. Beiming puts on a sage face, claiming they must weaken her consciousness first, making everyone uneasy. That sparks a wild idea in him. Hao Tian watches in awe of his partner's insanity. Hao Tian quickly asks for details, eyes gleaming with curiosity. They approach the trembling girl. Beiming's tall figure makes her panic even more. She cries out, and Beiming's vague comforting words only worsen her fear. She completely misunderstands, torn between terror and embarrassment, overwhelmed by his aura. At last she gives up, whispering in despair, letting him do whatever he pleases. She lies face down, hiding her hair, shyly begging them to be gentle. The two boys blush and awkwardly agree to go easy, misunderstanding everything. Noises from inside echo out, making everyone think something indecent is happening. Yubaba panics and wants to rush in, but the green-haired girl stops him calm outside, doubtful inside. She recalls Bei Ming's special rescue method and blushes at the thought. Right then, the two boys step out announcing success, and everyone exhales in relief. Someone rushes over, calling the rescued girl's name in worry. The girl lies unconscious, clothes messy enough to make anyone think the worst. Hearing her name, she slowly opens her eyes and murmurs faintly. Yuji wakes up, hugs Yubaba tight, and cries about a ghost dragging her leg. He comforts her tearfully. Outside, people praise the healer's skill. Only the green-haired girl stays silent in thought. Hao Tian and Bei Ming try to sneak off, claiming nothing happened. But Mu Rushu blocks them, sternly asking why the patient's clothes were torn. Bei Ming panics, insisting he's innocent and hurriedly explaining. When he finishes, Rushu frowns. What kind of weird foot battle is that? He awkwardly says it's a childhood tickle trick to absorb evil energy, odd but effective. Rushu half believes it, shrugs, and says fine, whatever, before walking off. Just as he's about to leave, someone urgently calls him back. Yubaba runs over joyfully, thanking Bei Ming as his daughter's savior and promising great rewards. Bei Ming is stunned, didn't know saving lives could pay this well. Yubaba thinks the young man must be noble and ungreedy, ready to give up his fortune for him. The crowd whispers, eager to hear what price this hidden dragon will name. Bei Ming frets, asks too much, his greedy too little, has dumb, has stuck. Finally, he settles on 1,000, enough for a cheap pair of shoes. He boldly says, 1,000, making everyone think they measured. Yubaba is moved, thinking it's far too little for such a deed, and even offers half his estate. His words confuse everyone, jaws dropping. He quickly corrects himself, calling Bei Ming a virtuous man untouched by greed. Bei Ming just freezes twice, unsure if his being praised or misunderstood. The crowd whispers that he purposely asked Lo to save Yantian's face. How noble! He and the wolf dog just sigh under everyone's admiring stares. Bei Ming cheerfully daydreams how many pairs of Ozzy shoes that money could buy. Rushu steps up seriously, asking him to save her friend too, promising any reward. Bei Ming blanks out, wondering what any condition even means while the crowd swoons. Hao Tian cuts in teasing, saying the condition must be that kind of thing. He winks, romantic stuff between men and women. The wolf jokes the condition is making the green-haired girl wear a short skirt. She blushes furiously. Bei Ming flips out, calls Hao Tian a pervert, threatens to drown him, while the latter just laughs. As dusk falls, gangsters at the villa swear to deal with Bei Ming for stealing their turf. A mob charges, shouting they'll kill the bold brat. Bei Ming and Hao Tian scold them for showing up late to the chaos, ready to fight back. Yubaba appears, yelling for peace and declaring Bei Ming his honored guest. The thugs freeze in confusion, not daring to move an inch. A man steps in to mediate, promising to settle things and compensate the gang. The leader nods and orders his crew to back off, not wanting more trouble. Before leaving, he snarls that Bei Ming won't be so lucky next time. Bei Ming stays silent, head bowed, ignoring him completely. The thug adds, remember my words, for dramatic effect. He shoulder checks Bei Ming on purpose while passing, trying to provoke him. Big mistake. A crack sounds as Bei Ming snaps his bone instantly. Bei Ming coldly smiles and asks if it's okay. The guy sweats and stammers, I'm fine, let's get to the hospital. Bei Ming waves goodbye, ready to leave, but Yubaba insists he stay for dinner. He politely declines, saying he's got things to do, and turns his car key. Xiaoxiu appears, offering her car since she'll stay to care for Yuji. Bei Ming smiles, returns the key, saying he's got it handled. He bows politely, leaving behind to see you at school. The crowd murmurs. Impressed, he turned down Goddess Mu Rushu, driver of a multimillion supercar. Outside, Bei Ming orders a ride service, grumbling about the late driver but thanking him anyway. When the driver teases him for not driving, he calmly replies, I'm rich now, rich folks hire rides. Inside, Hao Tian and Bei Ming bicker loudly until Hao Tian soaks into silence. Then Hao Tian turns serious, noting Bei Ming's crazy luck absorbing evil energy and making cash nonstop. Bei Ming muses that life was smooth once, until disaster struck and he learned it's never all sunshine. Hao Tian nods, then suddenly remembers his girlfriend Mini is sick and orders the driver to detour. The driver agrees easily. Money talks. The car fills with warm, easygoing vibes. Arriving, Bei Ming greets Mina's parents politely. They scold him fondly while the uncle grumbles about too many gifts. He knocks softly, calling Mini, saying he's come to visit. No answer. He frowns, too quiet, and senses something strange in the air. Bei Ming realizes there's a faint trace of evil energy inside. Dangerous. He and Hao Tian burst in, shouting Mina's name in panic. She lies pale on the bed, making Bei Ming fear the evil aura stuck since last night. Hao Tian confirms it's only surface level, hasn't sunk in. She's lucky. Bei Ming places his hand on her forehead to draw out the evil energy, but suddenly Mini grabs his hand, pulling him close, touching him gently. In her delirium, she murmurs, just like when we were kids, go ahead, absorb it. Bei Ming hesitates nervously, while Hao Tian keeps a wary eye. The evil energy clears, but her fever stays high. Something else is wrong. Mina's body trembles, legs twitching, sweat dripping down. The fever racks her body, her breath quick and shallow. Beiming blushes, turning away, helpless in the awkward scene. Half-conscious, Mini mumbles, aiming you're here. Why'd you raise a husky? That line makes Hao Tian the wolf squint dangerously. Beiming looks baffled, did he hear that right? Miney keeps mumbling, calling Hao Tian husky, making his vein pop. Hao Tian frowns, confused what's a niha she just said. He then theorizes it's a mix of Erlang Shen and haha. Nodding proudly, he decides Erha suits his vibe perfectly. Beiming explodes, yelling his logic belongs under his butt. Hao Tian turns serious again, saying if she truly saw his spirit form, she's no ordinary human, it's impossible. Beiming looks at motionless Miney, hoping it's just sleep talk, not a real power that'll drag her into trouble. He calms Hao Tian, telling him to live normally and let him handle things. Hao Tian still doubts, wondering if her power came from the evil aura or something deeper. Suddenly he smells something strange, killing intent lurking around the room. Hao Tian shouts for the hidden one to reveal themselves, saying their aura can't hide behind evil energy anymore. Beiming startles, you mean there's a demon in here? Then frantically scans the room. A dark shape crawls onto Mina's bed, chilling the air. A raspy laugh echoes the intruder, proud of being discovered. Evil mist gathers on the wall, forming a humanoid shape that calls out Hao Tian as a divine wolf guardian. Hao Tian frowns, this thing's strong, but its aura feels like overheated spiritual energy, not demonic. The arrogant spirit roars, threatening rivers of blood if they don't kneel. Beiming calmly mocks, asking Hao Tian if has ever seen a villain brag this much. The two chat while the demon fumes. Ignored, the monster bursts into blazing red flames, declaring itself the flame god, threatening to burn down the block. Hao Tian sweats, it looks like looting divine fire from heaven, which should be impossible. Beiming taunts, saying the Great One's so scary even Hao Tian went pale. Hao Tian snaps back angrily. Beiming cuts him off, puzzled if the fire's real, why aren't they burning? Hao Tian notices it too, confusion deepening. He mutters that maybe old fire trauma made him panic. Embarrassing. Beiming piles on, teasing the enemy to go on, burn us, while Hao Tian denies, trembling. The demon's face pales, sweat pouring as fear shows. Beiming smiles, concluding it's just an illusion, shocking Hao Tian. He glances around, then points, your true body is that jar, isn't it? Hao Tian blinks, thinking he's joking about the old bedside lamp. Beiming clarifies it's not the lamp, but the flame inside it. The flame god flinches instantly. He explains his spirit serpent sense only detects heat from that flame, proof it's the real body, and the rest is bluff. Hao Tian praises his sharp logic. Beiming smirks, teasing him for being a coward, making him fume. Hao Tian vents his anger, shouting at the demon to reveal its true form or be eaten alive. It trembles, begging mercy. The demon shrinks into a tiny, harmless-looking flame. It stammers apologies, saying it only meant to scare them a little. Beiming sternly demands its identity and purpose, while Hao Tian, impatient, threatens to eat it. It blurts Beiming's full name, stunning him. It sticks out its tongue, accusing Beiming of always endangering Mini. Hao Tian growls, and the flame instantly shuts up. Then the small flame explains it was once looting divine fire from Tai Shang Lao Jun's alchemy furnace, but lost most of its power after descending to the mortal realm. Beiming sighs in relief, telling it to leave peacefully if harmless, lest it harm Mini and force him to act. The flame protests, saying Hes the one who should stay away. She's under its protection. Beiming's face darkens, demanding it speak clearly. Terrified, it confesses that if it leaves, Mini will die. Beiming panics and demands a full explanation. The tiny flame explains every human is born with 3 life flames, lose one, and evil energy seeps in easily. Miney was born missing one, so it stayed as her replacement flame, guarding her ever since. Beiming realizes the story matches what is seen. He recalls how Miney was often gravely ill as a child, hospital stays lasting for months. But at 10, she suddenly became lively and strong, even outpacing the boys. The little flame proudly boasts it made that miracle happen. Hao Tian mocks, saying without clinging to her, it'd have vanished long ago. Beiming snaps at him to stop bullying Xiao Dingding, leaving the flame puzzled by the weird nickname. Beiming bows, thanking and apologizing, while Xiao Dingding wonders if it's being praised or sweet-talked. The flame smirks, glad to be acknowledged, yet insists it still dislikes them no matter the flattery. Beiming solemnly asks its help to save my knee, shocking and worrying aiming. A gentle breeze drifts through warm sunlight, lighting the quiet room. In sleep, Beiming hears a soft voice calling to him. He slowly wakes amid a hazy dream. A pair of red lips appear, making him wonder why his dreams keep getting weird. Seeing a curvy figure before him, he doubts if his mind's just too full of fantasies. A sharp cheek pinch and tears of pain confirm nope, not a dream, as the urgent voice calls again. Fully awake, he grabs Mina's hand, half scolding her for using that same excuse as heard it for 10 years straight. She lets go, teasingly asks why Hes in her room and if he did something naughty, forcing him to defend himself. Miney laughs, says she's joking, thanks him sweetly for staying all night, and urges him to eat breakfast. Beiming nods, fixes his hair, and agrees. Hao Tian watches enviously, sighing like a man staring at food he can't eat. Beiming snaps, calling him a meat-craving mutt, leaving Hao Tian speechless. Beiming notes Mina's quick recovery, praising Xiao Dingding's skill, but fearing her hidden powers might awaken. Hao Tian's surprised should strong powers be good for defense and helping others. Beiming firmly says he just wants her to live peacefully, willing to give up everything to protect that, even if it's hard. Hao Tian groans, teasing that love kills brain cells. Beiming glares and changes the topic, accusing him of reading trash novels, while Hao Tian grins slyly. The sky shines bright and clear. Beiming and Mini walk leisurely to school together. A cheerful good morning makes Beiming turn around. A figure rushes toward him at full speed. Mo Xiang leaps and hugs Beiming tight, leaving him flustered and stammering a reply. She presses close on purpose, her soft body brushing his arm, making him panic and mumble about personal space. The air suddenly chills. He can sense a storm coming. Mai Ni snaps, yelling for Mo Xiang to let go. The other girl sticks her tongue out teasingly, making Mini blush redder. Beiming senses no evil energy from Mo Xiang. Hao Tian explains pure-hearted people rarely attract dark forces. Mo Xiang remembers her thank you gift, pulling a private photo from her shirt for Beiming. She smiles sweetly, showing her phone number on the back, and invites him to her next live stream. Teasing done, she skips off happily, with Mai Ni chasing furiously in jealous rage. Beiming stares at the photo, heart-pounding, wondering if this is the legendary lipstick-marked picture. The photo reads to the brave boy, making Beiming's hands shake while Hao Tian can only gape speechless. Beiming senses evil energy flickering around Hao Tian, while jealous stares burn from classmates furious that Miao Xiang favored him when their wallets colt. Surrounded by simmering envy, Beiming feels chills and plans to slip away. Hao Tian agrees the resentment stinks too much. Just as they move, Beiming feels something odd. Hao Tian instantly recognizes a reflection barrier. In a flash, black mist engulfs the entire school. Hao Tian warns it's the largest barrier ever, covering the whole academy. Beiming frowns, guessing the principal's plotting something, and decides to strike first. Hao Tian grins. Finally, the main act begins. He reflects that he once thought brute strength was everything, but last night's ancient scroll taught him the true essence of power. Watching Beiming ahead, he realizes real power is control over hearts, something he lacks. Beiming calls out when he sees him zoning out. Hao Tian quickly pretends nothing's wrong. Once Beiming walks off, Hao Tian smirks darkly, vowing to duel the principal. He secretly hopes to surpass Beiming, even if it costs his life. Beiming shivers, sensing a strange aura from Hao Tian, a bad omen. He steadies himself, feeling his heartbeat skip for reasons unknown. Suddenly, the intercom blares an earthquake alert, ordering evacuation. Beiming instantly suspects foul play. He scans the area. The evil auras everywhere. Going outside now is suicide. Beiming grabs Hao Tian, deciding to reach the broadcast room and change the message. Hao Tian rushes there, demanding news from the principal. Inside, teachers panic. Phone's dead, and the homeroom teacher grumbles the principal always vanishes during crises. After a pause, he orders a new emergency broadcast to prevent casualties. Beiming bursts in, stopping him, shocking the teacher, who yells for him to get out. Beiming pleads firmly, begging him to believe what will sound insane. He reveals the spreading evil aura, warning them to seal rooms or risk their souls. Everyone freezes in fear. The teacher snaps, accusing him of lying for revenge after expulsion. Beiming stammers a defense, but the man dismisses him completely. The others join in, calling him arrogant and ungrateful even after the principal's mercy. Hao Tian sighs, mocking humans for trusting only their eyes, telling Beiming to just crush them instead. Beiming refuses. Only the teacher's authority can calm the crowd, though Hao Tian calls it hopeless. Hao Tian reminds him of their grudge, saying the man will never believe him. The teacher coldly orders Beiming out. Beiming sighs. There's no safe way left except a risky one. Hao Tian asks what he's planning. Beiming quietly says his name, a cue that it's go time. He smirks faintly, realizing his school life's ending with a literal bang. With that, Beiming drops into a badass combat stance. Flames roar around him, his right hand morphing into a blazing claw. Teachers and students freeze, hair standing, eyes wide with terror. Standing amid fire, Beiming declares there's no time left for debate. He gazes at the swirling light around his hand, whispering an apology before striking. Right after, he throws a punch that blasts the wall apart. Debris flies everywhere, leaving everyone frozen in shock. The homeroom teacher shields himself and yells, demanding what Beiming just did. Beiming calmly explains it wasn't an explosion but a controlled strike, limited to avoid casualties. The teacher turns to look, stunned at the gaping hole in the wall, barely believing him. Beiming solemnly declares he just wanted to prove some things defy logic, that even the broken can do the extraordinary. Students erupt, calling him a vandal and accusing him of planting explosives. Hao Tian smirks, saying, "See, humans never believe what they can't understand," as the mob curses louder, even yelling to call the police. The teacher roars for silence. Inside, he grows uneasy. No scent of gunpowder. Maybe this boy really does have supernatural power. The thought drains his color. He stares at Beiming's body radiating fierce energy. Panic hits. If this kid's violent, has dead meat. Beiming lifts his head, voice low, calling the teacher's name. The man trembles, backing away, begging forgiveness and promising not to interfere again. Beiming raises his voice, saying he seeks no revenge nor to expose the teacher's secrets, he only wants everyone's trust to save the school. The sincerity stuns the teacher, making him waver. But two students shout back, calling Beiming insane and insisting evacuations safer than fighting imaginary evil. The teacher grits his teeth, grabs the mic, and orders all students and staff to return to class, seal windows, and await further notice. Students grumble and shuffle through halls, complaining about changing orders, but finally obey. Haotian watches from above, cheering that everyone's back. Beiming's call was spot on. Relieved, Beiming bows, saying now they can focus on the source of the corruption. The teacher frowns, saying it's not belief but a 30-year teacher's instinct has staking his honor on this choice. He points sternly, warning that if Beiming fails, both of them are packing their bags. Beiming dashes off, promising firmly he won't disappoint that this ends today. Haotian watches, thinking how strange fate is enemies trusting each other at death's door. Scenes shift to the spiral staircase where evil energy is thickest, eerie laughter echoing. They rush in. Haotian confirms it's the core and jokes. He can smell the trail. Beiming quips that his dog nose finally paid off. They stop at a door. Beiming says they must calm the principal first, while Haotian growls that as long as his head's intact, they'll talk later. Beiming shouts while running, urging the principal to stop before dragging the school to ruin to talk peacefully. They arrive to find the principal collapsed, unconscious. Beiming panics, calling out. Haotian frowns, guessing he forcibly unsealed the vessel and got backlashed by the evil force. Foolish move. Beiming lifts him quickly, saying there's no time to argue, they'll save him first, then clear the aura. Haotian warns, feeling divine energy radiating from the vessel, something far beyond what Beiming thinks. Beiming ignores him, scolding him for cowardice. If they hesitate, the school's doomed. Hell absorb it all. Haotian yells that divine power exceeds human limits. Haotian grabs his collar, shouting in agony to let go or they'll both die. But Beiming stubbornly insists they must act now or lose everything. Suddenly the vessel explodes with immense energy, shaking Beiming violently as pain racks his body. Haotian yanks him out of the blast, grumbling that if had hesitated, Beiming would be ash by now. Beiming looks at his red, scorched hands, veins bulging, groaning that his recklessness nearly cost him. Even so, he asks if there's any other way. They can't waste time. Haotian says there is if he merges into Beiming's body, he can easily absorb the evil aura, secretly thrilled at the chance. Beiming nods firmly, saying he knows Haotian's no saint, but if it saves the school, his body's all his. Haotian freezes, then chuckles darkly, what luck, and vows not to waste his shiny new vessel. Suddenly, a gravelly voice growls behind them. The principal, awake, grabs Beiming's head, eyes blazing with dark energy, asking coldly what he thinks is doing. Beiming freezes, stammering broken words. The principal yanks his hair, raving that if Beiming won't cooperate, he'll do it himself. He hurls both Beiming and Haotian aside like trash. They crash with a scream. The impact booms, energy surging and shaking the whole space. The principal laughs madly, unaware the ground around him glows purple as evil energy spirals toward him. Glowing stones rise and shoot at him like deadly meteors. As they near, he turns eyes wide with horror at what's coming. He bursts a shield, stones scattering, sneering that Beiming's still weak. He grins wickedly, voice dripping madness and disappointment. Beiming counterattacks in a flash, summoning a lightning sphere that shocks the principal. His reply is ice cold. The thunder punch slams into his chest, nearly tearing him apart in terror. Stunned that his barrier's broken, the principal hears Beiming's scorn for betraying his ideals. Beiming keeps striking, demanding the real reason for his betrayal. The final punch sends him flying, flames roaring around Beiming. The man hits the ground hard, bracing himself with a groan. He laughs manically, saying Beiming already knew his plot. Beiming demands answers about his daughter and why he endangered the whole school. The principal screams back he'd sacrifice everything for his daughter, 10 years straight. He confesses he sold his soul to the organization for her sight, but failed. Beiming and Haotian can only watch as he loses his mind. Haotian warns this is bad. Beiming steadies himself, saying they must find who's really pulling the strings first. Haotian shouts in shock at those words. Beiming demands why he chose corruption over saving his daughter, pointing at the burning talisman. The principal laughs bitterly, revealing the evil aura is actually the sealed power of the serpent god Oculus. Beiming freezes. Could it be the legendary god UQ Lutz? Haotian recalls Xiao Huo's words that God had its eyes stolen by humans and was imprisoned here. The principal admits he served the organization for 10 dark years just to save his child. He stares at his blood-stained hands, confessing a decade of sins still unwashed. He cackles wildly, saying he'll sacrifice Beiming to the serpent god for redemption, mocking his heroic ideals. Beiming's fury reaches its peak. Haotian yells to stop, urging Beiming to hand over his body for battle. Beiming reluctantly agrees to the deal. He clenches his fists, eyes burning with regret and resolve. Students panic and scatter through the school, shouting to ask what's happening. Another student sneers, telling everyone to run to open space, not to trust the principal. Suddenly, one student is engulfed by dark aura, screaming in terror. The miasma spreads fast, swallowing others as teachers shout for them to return. When they turn, their eyes are empty, making the teacher scream in horror. The twisted students attack classmates, turning the schoolyard into a nightmare. Screams echo as surviving students flee, chased by crazed attackers. Dai hears the chaos, confused about what's going on. She tells Shang to stay, but her friend insists on coming, feeling safer with Dai. They rush toward the chaos and find several badly injured students. Dai panics and shouts that someone's hurt. She runs over to check their wounds. Dai tells Shang to call for help, but the injured warn them to stay away. Shang screams while Dai freezes at the horrific sight. Shang is surrounded by tainted students who leer and grope at her. Dai charges in, throwing a punch at them. The demons mock her weakness and crudely demand to play with the girls. They laugh darkly, threatening to get serious if the girls resist. Dai takes a deep breath and tells Shang to run on her countdown. She yells at her friend not to hesitate and just follow orders. Dai kicks the first one hard while shouting 1. She punches the second and calls 2. The final kick downs the last one. 3 seals the combo. She yells for Shang to run while she holds them off. 2 remaining monsters roar and chase after Shang. But Dai dashes ahead, blocking their path like lightning. She taunts them bravely but worries her strongest blows did nothing. Exhausted but determined, she stalls them, unsure how to end it. The demons lick their long tongues, staring lustfully at Dai. Suddenly, a girl appears and smashes them away with a weapon. Dai freezes, shocked to recognize her. The girl's weapon spins, flashing multicolored light with slicing sounds. She says coldly, "Trash belongs in the bin." Dai realizes it's Muruaksu, admiring her strength and beauty, but jealous over Amin. Thinking of Amin makes her quietly fume. Muruaksu turns and asks, "You're Dai, right? Got Amin's number." Dai says she tried calling but there's no signal, secretly glad they aren't close. Muruaksu sighs, warns her to leave this dangerous place, yet feels uneasy relying too much on Amin. Dai insists on staying to help despite Muruaksu's warning that mortals won't last. Muruaksu finally shrugs in acceptance, just as Dai warns of more demons coming. Muruaksu prepares for battle, thinking things are still under control but suspects the principal or Bei Ming. She explains to Dai about the dark sorcery turning humans, stressing they must guard the school gate. Dai agrees, both eyes blazing with resolve. Hao Tian watches the two good sides unite, intrigued by the twist. Bei Ming asks why Hao Tian looks surprised he dodges, while Bei Ming says everything's ready. The principal struggles up, blood dripping from his mouth. Bei Ming mocks him for dirty tricks and declares hell end it all. His eyes blaze with fierce confidence. The principal roars, calling Bei Ming a delusional weakling and boasting his organization is far stronger. Bei Ming coldly says the principal no longer deserves that title, as a divine figure with a sword appears behind him. He commands the blade to strike like a raging storm. A slash grazes the principal, embedding deep into the wall and startling him. Bei Ming says he only regrets seeing a powerful demon make himself weak. The principal screams in envy, saying he sold his soul for power. Bei Ming retorts that it wasn't for any girl he kills because it's in his nature, not for excuses. The principal, manic, injects a glowing blue liquid into his neck, grinning wildly. He raises a talisman plank that shines brightly, thanking Bei Ming for pushing him past his limit. Bei Ming shouts for him to stop, sensing disaster incoming. Hao Tian yells for Bei Ming to halt him, warning the principal's about to trigger a massive energy surge. Hao Tian turns pale, realizing if the principal finishes, they're both doomed. The principal steps forward, smiling coldly, calling himself Master Delta, as demons gather around. He roars, declaring the slaughter's beginning, ordering his monsters to kill all. The horde charges at Bei Ming and Hao Tian with weapons drawn. Hao Tian suspects the principal's strange power comes from the blue injection. Bei Ming reacts fast, using flaming chains to haul Hao Tian upward through a ceiling hole, telling him to run. Hao Tian, being pulled up, admits hopelessly that this time escape seems impossible. On the ground, Dai and Muruaksu have nearly cleared the monsters but are exhausted. Dai pants, wondering if she has hit her limit as her fists stiffen like stone. She feels her body failing, barely able to lift her hands. Muruaksu notices and shouts for her to retreat while she holds the line. Dai despairs over her weakness, fearing she'll always need saving and lose Amin. Bei Ming's image flashes in her mind, reigniting her unyielding spirit. She gathers every ounce of strength and punches straight into the horde. The friction ignites sparks that burst into flame. Fire engulfs her arm, blazing red hot and fierce enough to scorch the air. She screams and dives into the monsters, fists exploding in fire. Muruaksu gasps it's not ordinary fire, but one that burns away corruption. Flames cover Dai's body, radiating holy energy, leaving Roxu stunned by her mysterious origin. On the roof, the principal senses that divine power and craves it like reborn sunlight. He dives down intent on seizing it. but something crashes into him midair, detonating near the school windows. Moments later, Beiming and Hao Tian appear before Dai and Ruoxu, who scolds him for vanishing so long. Beiming shrugs, says they'll talk later, then orders Hao Tian to put out Dai Ni's flames, claiming his helping. A tiny fire spirit forms on Dai Ni's shoulder, glaring irritably at Beiming. Beiming lifts Dai Ni into his arms to protect her from harm. Ruoxu feels uneasy, consumed by jealousy she can't explain. Beiming calls Ruoxu a goddess and is about to ask for help when a terrifying scream erupts. They both turn. Beiming frowns, wondering if it came from the principal. On the floor spins a spiked golden orb as the principal screams in agony. Hao Tian trembles, suspecting it's the Ling Shi Jiayan, the serpent's eye of wisdom. A colossal purple eye opens, slit-pupilled and veined, firing golden lightning. Beiming is horrified. It's the serpent god's eye, brimming with demonic hatred. Hao Tian grits his teeth, saying it's no artifact, it's the god's real body, torn from it by humans, and vengeance is inevitable. The glowing eye bursts with light, sprouting countless vines that wrap around the screaming principal. His bound tight, body convulsing and unable to move. Beiming realizes the eye is trying to possess him and orders Ruoxu to take Dai Ni away. Ruoxu protests, but Beiming cuts her off, saying she'd only be a burden and should just save the girl. She bites her lip, furious, but agrees, demanding Beiming hand Dai Ni over. He nods, thanks her quickly, and passes Dai Ni to her. The serpent god's eye unleashes lightning and chaotic energy, shaking the ground. Ruoxu carries Dai Ni off, bitter at retreating instead of fighting. She grits her teeth, vowing never to stay weak again. The principal's body turns pale as purple snakes crawl from him, attacking. He roars, daring Beiming to flee. Beiming shouts back, "Shut up and fight, principal!" Beiming slashes madly, shredding snakes but missing one. His heart sinks at the mistake. A massive explosion rips through the corridor. Beiming spins around, stunned, unsure what just happened. His homeroom teacher appears, shielding Ruoxu and Dai Ni, taking the deadly hit. Blood gushes, yet the teacher stands firm, shouting he won't let anyone harm his students. Beiming delivers the final strike, killing the last snake, then screams for his teacher in despair. But it's too late. He catches his dying teacher, who scolds him fondly for forcing him to act, while Beiming sobs apologies. The teacher smiles weakly, joking about being a fat, balding man once full of passion, then entrusts Beiming with saving everyone. Beiming trembles, refusing to accept it, pleading for him to hold on. Then a strange pill flies toward him. He catches it. Ruoxu explains it's emergency medicine and urges him to give it to the teacher and send him to the infirmary. Beiming hesitates, torn between fighting and saving his teacher. Suddenly, a voice behind says, "Let us handle him." He turns to see 5 friends, led by Shenlak, trembling yet awed by the monstrous scene. Shenlak smiles, saying they're allies. They won't let Beiming fight alone. Beiming orders them to take the teacher to the infirmary, but they panic, fearing monster attacks. Shenlak snaps, offering a million reward to whoever dares. Instantly they switch tone, volunteering eagerly. One even shouts, "I'm in!" creating absurd chaos. They lift the teacher together, half crying, half joking, arguing over who gets the payment. Hao Tian sighs, saying money truly is the greatest power. Beiming just nods in agreement. The principal claps, laughing that this battle is pure entertainment, then coldly declares, "Funds over time for the finale." He exhales smoke with a sly, unreadable grin. He transforms into a half-human, half-dragon monster, a serpent eye glowing on his chest, threatening to end them all. Beiming gasps at the horror. Hao Tian analyzes that the form is a fusion with the serpent god, has surpassed humanity and touched divine power. The principal mocks Beiming, saying his strength comes from the husky beside him. Hao Tian explodes, yelling has a radiant great demon, not someone's mutt, and curses the principal. The principal sneers that demon or dog, both are just chained pets in his eyes. Hao Tian grinds his teeth, ready to tear him apart. Beiming steps in front, forbidding anyone to insult his friend. While counterattacking, Beiming smirks and says his husky's at least useful. The principal easily blocks the blade, saying that's trivial. What he truly wants is to know more about Beiming. The two sides clash evenly as the principal preys into Beiming's origins, leaving him stunned. Furious, Beiming yells, demanding why he's being interrogated. Hao Tian grows uneasy, suspecting the principal can see through Beiming's secrets. The principal sneers that Beiming is half-god, half-human, that's why he once lost to him. Beiming roars for him to shut up, but the principal calmly calls his sword Chama. Beiming attacks, yet his sword can't touch the foe. The principal laughs, saying a demon slayer can't harm a god. Beiming panics, realizing the man can read his thoughts. The principal drives a brutal punch into Beiming's gut. He says coldly that Beiming's existence itself is a mistake. Beiming's hurled away as the principal mocks him, abandoned by gods, hated by humans, desired by demons. Rising from the river in rage, Beiming yells for him to shut up and strikes back. The principal crushes his sword and mocks him as a pitiful soul cursed by fate. Hao Tian warns that the principal has both divine flesh and an eye that sees time, urging Beiming to retreat. Beiming refuses, determined not to give up. The principal scoffs, calling him a stubborn ant fighting fate. He coils a serpent around Bei Ming's arm, mocking that the hero's play ends here. Then he kicks Bei Ming flying like a ball. Hao Tian shouts that he's an idiot for fighting with a broken body, but Bei Ming insists the battle isn't over. He roars that even a divine body will shatter under his fists. He declares that even with foresight, the principal can't match his speed. The principal sighs, saying Bei Ming's cursed life surviving this long is a miracle. He proclaims the miracle ends now, for he is the pinnacle of supremacy. Bei Ming laughs, saying only a vain pretty boy would talk like that. He vows to choose his own fate and mocks the principal as a creepy voyeur. The principal grows uneasy, sensing Bei Ming's power and speed rising unnaturally fast. He shouts that hell unleash purified steel reincarnation, a forbidden divine art. Bei Ming blinks, puzzled. The move seems harmless. Hao Tian calls to him, but Bei Ming can't hear. Confused, Bei Ming yells, asking why Hao Tian's voice is gone. He turns on the principal, demanding to know what he did. The principal laughs triumphantly as dark energy floods the area. Bei Ming panics, realizing he's in a strange void, shouting to know where he is. He finds himself falling endlessly, while the principal whispers that his reward is eternal torment in painful memories. The principal coldly says that without demonic power, Bei Ming's nothing and now hell watch humanity's end. Hao Tian despairs, realizing Bei Ming's mind is trapped in pure heaven eye, a god-tier illusion. Inside, Bei Ming walks through endless darkness, guessing he's ensnared by the cursed eye, and wishing time would freeze so he could escape. He thinks if time flows, he's doomed. He must find a way out, spotting light ahead. He sprints toward it, shouting that it's his chance to break free. But as he emerges, a speeding car rushes straight at him. The driver panics, swerving to avoid him. Though there's no crash, Bei Ming stands stunned, baffled by the scene. The car screeches to a halt, revealing a silver-haired man with a crimson horn on his head. The horned man coldly declares himself Erlang Shenjun of the Huanni divine clan, one who never tolerates lesser beings. With a single kick, Erlang Shenjun sends the car flying skyward, leaving Bei Ming gaping. His overwhelming power stuns Bei Ming, who wonders why his memory of the accident 2 years ago is so hazy. Suddenly recognizing that face, Bei Ming screams it's the one who killed his mother and ruined his body. He charges forward, hatred burning, vowing to kill his enemy. Erlang turns calmly, mocking that it's surprising Bei Ming survived and crossed worlds even stronger. He still can't touch him. Bei Ming attacks full force but hits an invisible wall. The god smirks, asking if it's fun watching himself die. He taunts further, asking if it hurts, if Bei Ming regrets or hates, stoking his fury. With disdain, he blames Yang Jian and says killing Bei Ming again is boring since he's too weak. Erlang smirks, daring Bei Ming to get stronger so he can enjoy killing him again. Then he vanishes, leaving Bei Ming howling coward as he chases in vain. A thunderous explosion breaks through. The scene shifts into memory. Bei Ming recalls the tragedy, the car with his mother plunging into a ravine. Fire everywhere, her hand gripping his, whispering to survive for hope. The blast consumes everything. Tears stream as grief floods back. He remembers her dying wish that even lost, he must live on. Wiping his tears, Bei Ming vows not to be weak again. He now has strength and purpose to fight and live anew. Staring at his broken past self, he swears vengeance on Yang Jin, fate, and the cruel heavens. Roaring, eyes bloodred, he vows to crush every demon in the universe to find his enemy. A quake explodes through the scene, shaking everything apart. The principal grabs Bei Ming's hair, sneering that he's just writhing in agony, trapped forever in the wheel of fate. Safa. He throws Bei Ming to the ground like trash, saying coldly, useless. Then he laughs maniacally, eyes glowing, ready for the next slaughter. Twin laser beams burst from his eyes, ripping the ground and scorching deep trenches. The deafening blast knocks students in the hall to the floor. From afar, Muraksu gasps, the energy barrier shattered. She fears Bei Ming has fallen and wonders if the school can still be saved. She removes her necklace, eyes firm, knowing only one option remains. The jade pendant glows, a relic of the Mu family containing an ancient elixir that amplifies power and breaks curses at a deadly cost. It can paralyze the senses or melt the user's body, a relic used only in despair. Muraksu grips it tight, accepting death to protect everyone, smiling sadly that she couldn't say goodbye. She crushes it, murmuring, "At least I've caught up to her." She drinks the liquid. An explosion rocks the entire courtyard. She collapses, gasping, thinking faintly that maybe this was fate's design. Amid the smoke, Erlang Shenjun freezes, feeling a vast demonic power descending from the heavens. He's stunned to see it coming from Bei Ming. The black aura shatters his divine shield, and he cries out in terror. Hao Tian roars furiously, demanding Bei Ming hand over his body so he can fight the enemy himself. But the aura around Bei Ming suddenly yanks Hao Tian's chains toward him, leaving the demon stunned. The chains tighten. Hao Tian shouts angrily, demanding what Bei Ming's trying to pull. He claws the ground, resisting the pull, roaring, "Stop! Stop it now! Can you hear me?" A chill runs through him. Bei Ming seems to be absorbing his very soul, an insane impossibility. Bei Ming tightens the energy grip. Hao Tian screams that if he doesn't stop, they'll both be consumed. Hao Tian pleads desperately, begging Bei Ming to talk it out instead of fighting like beasts. But Beiming ignores him, pulling harder until the demon dog bursts into helpless tears. Then the eye on Erlang Shen's chest gathers dark energy, and he roars that those defying fate deserve only agony. A beam of eerie light blasts forth, splitting space in two.